Welcome people of YouTube, Guy Guess here again today. Thank you for joining me and thank you for clicking on my video. So I wanted to make a video on the topic of the current situation here in the UK. Now I know this has been going on around the world and yeah, it's finally been confirmed and it's finally happening here. So yeah, we're going into 3 weeks of isolation, into quarantine, and I've seen on my social media and throughout my friendship groups and people who are very close to me that anxiety levels are rising and people are worried about how they're going to cope with this isolation and this quarantine and how they're going to deal with this situation. Now throughout life, my lifestyle, I spend a lot of time alone. I enjoy my own company and it gets quite addictive, and yeah, you can enjoy your own company, and this is what this video is about. It's about what you should do throughout this isolation period and what you should focus on. So if you're going into this isolation period and you're going into this quarantine with the mindset of how am I going to cope, how am I going to deal with this situation, I hope I don't fall into depression again, I hope this doesn't happen, X, Y and Z, etc, etc, then you're already going off to a wrong foot. But what you're basically telling yourself is that when you're on your own, you're in bad company, and when you're on your own, you're not in a happy place, which is a big sign. In my life, if I were experiencing that, it'd be a big sign to me that it's time for change. And I do think this isolation and this quarantine will be really beneficial to people if they treat it in the right way. So you've got 3 weeks to yourself. Now that sounds absolutely beautiful for me, but for some people that sounds like the worst nightmare. And you've got to ask yourself why. Why would 3 weeks on my own be so dreadful and horrible? Is it because of the things that I think of myself? Is it because of how I value myself? Is it because of my worthiness and, and my belief of myself? Now these things, it's easy to do. It's easy to do not having self-worth and self-love. And yeah, this is where this isolation period is going to be really beneficial to you, because you've got to treat it like a work in progress now. And going into this and to get the most out of this quarantine, spend a lot of time on self-care. Spend a lot of time on learning who you are. Because if you're not in good company on your own, then you're never going to be in good company wherever you go. And if you turn this situation into a happy thing and a really beneficial thing towards your growth, then you'll see that the person you come out of the other side of this, you won't even recognise, you won't even know the person who you was before. So, going into this isolation period, what are the things that you can do to fill your time? How can you experience yourself and experience who you are and know yourself on a deeper level? Now, throughout the spiritual community, everyone's always spoke about self-care. Everyone's always spoke about self-development and self-growth. Meditation's a big practice that you can do, but I know a lot of people don't really want to venture into that road. Yoga, people don't really want to touch upon that. But in 3 weeks of isolation, why not try it? You've got plenty of time on your hands, and all you have to do in the morning is just give it a good stretch. I won't even call it yoga because people want to dress it somehow or frown upon it. Do some stretching. Stretch your body out. Move your body out. Experience what it's like to be in this shell. Woohoo! Yeah, let's stretch it out. Let's see what it feels like. Experiencing the moment. So throughout this isolation period, if I already do, but if I was you, or you're going into this with anxiety and you're worried about it, turn yourself off from social media. Not entirely, but if you go on any kind of social media platform at the moment, or you go on anything to do with TV or anything, it's all to do with coronavirus. It's all to do with bombarding you with fear, it seems. And I'm not saying it's purposefully done, it's informative, but at the end of the day, it's just making your anxiety, it's making your stress, it's making your depression worse. Now you've got to cut off. You're on 3 weeks of isolation, so you don't really need to know any much more about the coronavirus. You don't need to update yourself anymore on it because you're in isolation. So just turn yourself off from it. Switch off around you, start turning on inside you. Not the sexual way. So, reading books, pick up some books, drawing, start a journal. Now that's the biggest one for me. I'm on my second journal at the moment. And now, I'm filling it up and I write most days. Get a journal, write down your thoughts and feelings each and every day. Write down what your ideas are first thing in the morning and the last thing before you go to bed. Write down where your depression and anxiety is experienced. Now sometimes with stress and stuff, sometimes the tension's within his shoulders, sometimes it's in his neck, sometimes in his chest. Anxiety can make you feel hands feel numb. It can make your legs feel tingly. You know, try and work out and pinpoint where it's coming from. When you start building more awareness of your stress and more awareness of your anxiety, you start to detach away from it, because it's no longer an identity. It's just something that's there. And when you detach away from something, you can accept it more. So when you have this stress and anxiety, I'm just getting stressed out, I just need to calm down. That is acceptance. You've accepted that you're stressed, and you've accepted that you need to calm down. When you are the stress, it just goes and it carries on and on and on, and it starts torturing you. So throughout this self-isolation period and this quarantine period, if you are worried about your mental health and you're worried about your mental state of being, don't take it as a thing that's you've already decided it's gonna go wrong if you're worried about it. You need to start with the going I can approach and believing in yourself a little bit more. The thing is with self-isolation is it's all about you now. It's no longer about your social friendships and your social outgoings that some people thrive off and identify through. You've got to learn life in a different way, and the life that you're learning now is actually you, and it's your life, and it's living and being a human, being you. Whereas usually we just identify to situations, and that's why you get people who go out amongst the friends and they act differently to who they are at home. Now that person you are at home is the true you, and that's who you should really carry around with you all the time, and that's the person you're needing to develop. So just a little video to help people who are going into quarantine, who are going into self-isolation, because I do truly believe that this situation can make people a lot more self-aware and appreciative of the life that they have. Everything we know has been taken away from us. All the social situations, all us going out, partying and whatever you're doing, yeah, it's been taken away from us. So you've got to start searching within yourself for a different form of enjoyment, a different form of entertainment. You're going to become a better person. You're going to become, you know, a more developed person. And that's the way to treat it. It's not something to be scared about, this self-isolation, nor is the coronavirus. The coronavirus is happening, and yes, it is a scary thing because it's happening all around the world and there's so many people experiencing it at the same time. But it's an illness that's been caught and stuff, but there's a lot more people who die of cigarettes each year. There's a lot more people who die of cancer each year, and I know I'm not saying this to make you feel any better, but what I'm trying to do is breed more awareness about this, because yes, there's people passing, but at the end of the day, look at the human footprint. Look at the size of humanity towards this planet. Maybe the Earth is trying to, you know, colours a little bit, or maybe we're trying to dwindle the numbers a little bit, because the target age of who's been targeted is elder generation and respiratory problems, and yes, there is a few young people, but there's a lot of us. There's a lot of people on this planet, and the human being and animal kingdom balance has been thrown out for many years. It's way out of proportion. And yeah, a few of us are dying, and it's sad. It's a sad thing, but we have to accompany death and realise that we're all gonna die, and we have to celebrate life each and every day. As I always say on this channel, peace and love to anybody watching this. If you're going into quarantine, don't worry, don't be scared. It's time for a bit of you time. Start building up a warm sensation within your body. It's party time within you. Get jiggy, get dancing, put some music on, blast some tunes, get grooving about, get the people around you laughing, get people enjoying this situation as much as it possibly can. Don't get swallowed into the deep dark hole of depression and fear that's going on around the world. We've got to start shedding light for people. We can make the most out of this situation, and whatever life throws at us, you've just got to make the most of it. Take it easy, man.